Hello, students. Congratulations. What an incredible privilege it is to share this moment with you. Thank you to the faculty, Dean Randolph, the Board of Trustees for this incredible honor. And I want to give a special shout out to my wife for being my #1 fan. Yeah. They're up there. And my parents, who flew 5,000 miles to be here today. And my 2 kids, Micah and Tate, who would rather be 5,000 miles away than hear me talk. So I'm not here to talk about perseverance or how you are going to change the world, because odds are you won't. Sorry, parents. So I'm here to talk about animals, okay? And specifically frogs and cats. All right. And why frogs lose, and why a specific type of cat wins, okay? But before I get to those creatures, let me tell you something that I wish I knew on my graduation day. And it's that success from this day forth is determined by one thing no one can actually teach you, okay? One thing, if you don't have, could be devastatingly limiting to your career. And one thing, if you think you have, you could still continuously hone it and improve it. And that one thing is called self-awareness. Self-awareness is the ability to look yourself in the mirror and know where you stand. Okay? To see yourself clearly, your strengths, your gaps, and the barriers that keep you from getting to where you want to go. There's this Japanese proverb that I love. A frog in the well cannot imagine the sea. Okay? A frog in the well cannot imagine the sea. In less poetic terms, it means that a frog who is perfectly content inside of a small well cannot fathom the vastness of the oceans or the vastness of the seas. It vividly reminds us about the dangers of narrow-mindedness, just as Dean Randolph just mentioned, and of floating through life lacking self-awareness. I was once that frog. You cannot afford to be. Okay? So after graduating Northwestern in 2004, I landed my dream job at Goldman Sachs. Okay. Cringe, I know. It wasn't that cringe back then, okay? But once I got my foot in the door on Wall Street, I dreamed of becoming a managing director, okay? A prestigious title that's afforded to a few. It's kind of the pinnacle of the street. And I worked my butt off. Okay? 12 years later, I was finally up for that promotion. Okay? It was finally my time. So the day promotions were to be finalized, I got called into a partner's office. I opened the door, expecting my dreams to come true, expecting good news. But before I could even sit down, without any hesitation, the partner looks at me and bluntly says, "You are not getting promoted." So shocked, I did what most of you probably would do, which is I started spewing my highlight reel, right? Like, I did this, I did that, I'm so awesome. Just like I did all those things that those people that got promoted last year did. So why not me? His 3-word answer was simple, yet powerful enough to alter the course of my career. Goalposts move, he said. Goalposts move. So I eventually got beyond my self-pity and had a glimmer of self-reflection. At that moment, I realized I was blind to something big that was happening around me, which was how quickly my job of buying and selling stocks were being done better, cheaper, faster by algorithms. So the truth was there was less need for people like me, but I lacked the awareness to internalize that. And instead, I spent all my time, all my energy pursuing potentially meaningless titles. And at that moment, I asked myself, this is a question all of you have to ask yourself as well, which is, if a simple algorithm can limit my career to that degree, what's going to happen when AI comes? Okay. If Silicon Valley Thank you. Thank you to the 3 people up there. If Silicon Valley is the Rome of my day, I asked myself, what am I doing chasing titles on a dying job on Wall Street? I knew that I needed to at least try to be a disruptor than being disrupted by myself. And I needed to pursue a career in AI. So finally, this frog looked beyond his well. So while doing my job, my day job, I sent resumes to every Wall Street, Silicon Valley company I could think of, right? Google, Uber, Amazon, so on and so forth. Having Northwestern and Goldman Sachs on my resume surely would open doors for me. It does not, and it did not. Okay? What followed was rejection after rejection. Months later, while getting turned down yet again, an executive at a big tech company, which I'm not going to name, stripped out all niceties and told it to me straight. He said, "You don't know anything about technology. Why would anyone take a chance on you?" Ouch, right? But swallowing my pride, I thought, wait, what if he's right? What if I was coming across completely unaware? What if it was the other way around? If somebody was interviewing with me for a job on Wall Street, and their pitch was simply that, I went to Northwestern, and I worked at Google, that person would probably be rejected as well. Okay? And I finally had this spark of enlightenment, which was, I was a frog, once again. But this time, though, I did something different. I ensured that this spark of awareness ignited action. Okay? So what were the barriers keeping me from where I wanted to go? I started taking data science classes online. I learned the basics of coding. I networked in Silicon Valley. I was in my mid to late 30s at the time, okay? But I had to restart from the beginning. And a few months later, I got a job at a small AI company that was willing to take a chance on me. I took a pay cut. I took a cut in title, in prestige. I also, again, took a massive pay cut, but hopefully, luckily my wife was supportive of that one. But I did not view it as a step down, just simply as a way to keep chipping away at my gaps in this new field. From there, doors opened, and that single step started my 3,000-mile journey from Wall Street to Silicon Valley, to Databricks, and to this very moment standing in front of you today. Many times in my life, self-awareness was gained through enduring disappointment. It does not need to be that way for you. It might be, but it doesn't need to be. Okay? Goalposts move. Honest self-reflection early in your career helps you take the often subtle guidance the world gives you. It helps you realize new things and allows you to plan for how to address them. It's not your pedigree. It is small and frequent intentional steps that take you to new goalposts. As AI proliferates all around us, the characteristics that make us human become more important, not less. And in that world, self-awareness will be the best tool you'll have because it is the unfroggiest and most human of characteristics. Now to cats. It's all coming together, right? The cats. So a few months ago, I had dinner with a senior executive at a well-known company who had just rolled out ChatGPT-like functionality to his entire workforce. And the expectation that he had was that with AI, he would need fewer employees. He was wrong. He found he still needed humans. But one thing did change, though, which was the desired characteristics of a successful one and the desired skill sets of the humans he needed. Goalposts moved. There were two clear groups that emerged from his experiments. I'm going to call them group frogs and group wildcats. Okay? Someone cheered for frogs earlier, but frogs lost. Okay? Frogs lost because they could not imagine doing things differently. They used AI and got lazy, became reliant on the machine. They were losing their ability to communicate, to think critically, to collaborate with others. Ironically, the usage of advanced technology was making them less prepared for the future. These folks, stuck in their well, unable to imagine the sea, they were disrupted. On the other hand, Group Wildcats won. They used AI, just like Group Frogs did, but AI not to do their jobs, but to work on the gaps they knew they had. If you're a bad writer, you used it to help you write. If creativity was your challenge, you used it to help you with ideas. The humans always came first and the AI second. They were self-aware, using technology as a tool to address the gaps they knew they had. These people became even more valuable to the company, and the CEO decided to hire more people like them. Wildcats won. Okay. Years from now, historians will say, you and I lived at the dawn of the AI age, a time when advancements were stopped being measured in percentages, but in multiples. Okay? Where advancements stopped being measured in percentages, but in multiples. Not 10% faster, but 10 times faster. Not 100% better, but 100 times faster. This means, as you embark on your road, beyond the confines of Sheridan Road, disruption will be your reality. Goalposts will move more frequently and more abruptly than anything I experienced. From medicine to marketing, AI will be all around you, all at once, throwing wrenches in your career plans. It's the new reality. But you cannot allow yourself to be the frog that I once was. You have to be a wildcat, because wildcats win. Okay? And as I conclude, I thought about this. Let me propose a little exercise for all of you here. Okay? Do this before you start drinking today. I think this is good. Okay? Because otherwise it could turn ugly. Okay? But since self-awareness is elusive to you and you alone, think about that for a second. Self-awareness is often elusive to you and you alone. Okay? We could all name 5 people who we think are clueless. Right? Yeah. Those 5 have no idea. Okay? And most likely you're on someone else's 5. Okay? Think about that. Okay? So I want you to tell 3 friends that you care about what they are unaware of. Okay? Again, maybe the I'm sure all the wives in the audience can't wait to do this to their husbands as well. Okay? As I said, it turns out we know very well the limitations of others while being ignorant of ours. Okay? It might sound harsh. I get it, but I promise you, this is the best parting gift you could give to someone you care about. Okay? And ask them to do the same for you. That'll be fun. And accept the feedback in its rawest form. It is a privilege. That I guarantee you. Okay? So from today on, work on your self-awareness until it becomes your superpower. Let it allow you to see yourself clearly. Let it help you close gaps and overcome the barriers that prevent you from getting to where you want to go. And let it guide you to new goalposts. Goalposts will move over and over again for each and every one of you. Okay? But you are a wildcat, and wildcats win. So go Cats! Goalposts will move, but you're a wildcat. I'm rooting for all of you. Thank you so much.